What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on Pure Panorama. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into it. We are going to remove the tail lights off the 24 valve and get them prepped to color match. I did go out today when I got out of work and I was able to find some adhesion promoter. I searched probably 10 different locations, was not able to find a thing until I finally went into NAPA where I got the paint mixed up, only I went to a different location and I asked them that if they mixed up auto body paint, if they had adhesion promoter or anything like that that I could get my hands on. And I know that Duplicolor makes an adhesion promoter in a can, but they didn't have it out on the shelf and I didn't see it. Well, luckily they had a can in the back room, so the guy went and grabbed that for me. I was able to get that. So we got the adhesion promoter to put on the plastic trim around the taillight housings after we sand them with the 800, the 1000, and the 2000 grit sandpaper. I'm basically gonna follow kind of like the same steps as I did when I tinted the taillight lenses. I'm gonna start by doing light sands with those 800, 1000, and 2000 grit papers, and then we're gonna degrease it with rubbing alcohol and a degreaser so that the oils and residues that are on the plastics get wiped off of there and don't cause any harm to the paint trying to stick to the plastic. Once we get to that stage, then we spray it with the adhesion promoter, so on and so forth. The primer, the base coat, and then the clear, and then go right back through and do the whole wet sanding stage all over again. And hopefully, with any luck, when we get all that finished, we'll have a nice color match tail light that will match and blend in nicely with the bed of the truck. So I'm gonna set you guys up on the tripod. I'm gonna pluck these tail lights out and start sanding and get this project underway. Let's go. So we've gone over both these taillights with sandpaper, also used a red scuff pad, which is for blending. I used the scuff pad to really get down in between the cracks from on the edge of the actual plastic trim and where the lens meets the trim, to get down in there and really kind of clean it out. I still had a little bit of rubbing compound in there from when I polished the taillight lenses after tinting them. So we got all that done, sanded, scuffed up. Now I'm going to go over it with this same Zep Fast 505 degreaser, wipe them all down, get all the oils and residues from our fingers off there, hit them with some rubbing alcohol, let them dry out real quick. I'm going to hit them with the air compressor just to blow out the little cracks and stuff, make sure that they're really dry. And then once they're dry, I am going to hit them with this Duplicolor adhesion promoter. Once it's dry, then we can move on to the primer, which I do have a filler primer, and we'll go over that later. I don't think we're gonna get this whole project done tonight because it is late. We are running out of time, so we're gonna make this a two-part video because it can probably get a little lengthy with all the steps, and I kinda wanna cover everything as best as I can and show you every step that I can. So we'll get as far as we can for the night, and then we'll pick up where we left off in the morning and finish it all up, get them looking good, and installed back on the Cummins.
Cooking soul,
This is where we're going to stop the video for tonight though. I have 3 coats of filler primer on each one of these taillights right now, and I gotta say, this stuff applied to these lights very, very well with that adhesion promoter on there first. This stuff definitely built up a little bit of a body on there, so it definitely is looking pretty decent. And I want to let these sit overnight so that they really dry out and they really cure up nicely, so that I'm able to come out first thing in the morning and do a light wet sand on them with a 2000 grit just to smooth them out a little bit more. So the whole point of me using the filler primer was to try and build up the taillight a little bit so that I could try and get rid of some of that little texture that is in these taillight trims. So anybody who has a second gen Dodge or has been up close enough to one and seen them, you know that there's a little bit of a texture in the plastics and around these taillights on the trim. It's not much, but it's enough. It stands out. So I figured the filler primer would be good for building up on there, and then we can lightly sand that down, smooth it out a little bit, and hopefully remove the texture so that they really try and kind of blend in a little bit more with the smoothness of the body. So if all goes well, tomorrow we get this wet sanded, we can hit it with the primer sealer, the paint, and hopefully the paint, you know, matches up decent with the truck, and it will all kind of just flow nicely in those taillight lenses that we tinted with the VHT Niteshades taillight tint spray last week. Will just really pop out at you. Now the paint on the truck isn't in the best shape. It does look pretty good right now. It has a nice gloss to it because I did wash it up yesterday in preparation to hit it with the buffer and try to get out some of the imperfections and try to do somewhat of a little bit of a paint correction to it. I do want to go around with a rubbing compound and a polishing compound and see if I can't restore more of a shine to it and just dress up the clear coat really, so that it blends better with the taillights once we color match them. Because once we color match these taillights, they're going to be so fresh that they're probably really going to just stand out like a sore thumb, because you got to figure this paint is 17 years old. It definitely has crap stuck to it and is just faded. So when we get a fresh coat of paint on these taillights, it's really going to stand out and pop out at you. So I figured we can go around and buff the truck tomorrow while we're spraying the taillights and color matching them in between coats of paint drying on them. Maybe I can work a section of the truck, do one section at a time, come back, spray the lights, do another section, and just kind of bounce between the 2 projects until hopefully we can get them both done, so that when we reinstall the taillights after they're color matched, they really just kind of flow and blend in nicely and don't stand out too much at you. I am also going to hit the taillights with this primer sealer before we start spraying the paint on there. That is going to wrap up part 1 of this taillight color matching video though, so we will get part 2 out for you tomorrow. Like I said, we're at a good stage right now, having the 3 coats of filler primer on there. It'll be able to cure overnight. We'll be able to get out here, sand it all, smooth it all out tomorrow morning, hit that base coat on there, and keep moving forward, and hopefully get onto the truck's body and try to buff and polish it out a little bit so that we start to turn it around and make it look a little bit nicer. As always though, hit that like button on your way out. You guys have been crushing that, and if you're stopping in for the first time, you're new here, hit that subscribe button, join the family, because I'm trying to get into other things that pertain to just trucks in general, not just the diesel stuff. I want to try and help out anybody and everybody, not just the guys in the diesel community or the Cummins community. So I'm trying to come up with different ideas for different videos that can be more broaden my horizons. So hit that subscribe button, join the family, and I will see you tomorrow when we finish up these taillights and hopefully turn the paint around and correct it a little bit on the old 24 valve. Peace.